Hello everyone, my name is Clay, and welcome to Terminally Nerdy's Indie Impressions, the show where I take a look at independent and non-AAA games, giving you my first impressions after at least 2 hours of playing. And why 2 hours? Well, if it's good enough for Steam refunds, it's good enough for me. So, without further ado, let's look at today's game, which is going to be Druidstone. So, I need to tell you, got a key for the purposes of this video from the developers of Druidstone. And if you don't know who those folks are, they're the folks behind Legend of Grimrock 1 and 2. However, where Legend of Grimrock is a first-person, action-oriented, grid-based dungeon crawler, Druidstone has much more in common with games like XCOM and Final Fantasy Tactics, in that it is a turn-based, grid-based tactical strategy game. In Druidstone, you're going to be commanding at least 3 characters. I didn't get far enough to know if I get any more, but I had 3 for the purposes of this. They were essentially a mage, an archer, and a warrior. You get to name them as you play, and you'll see that I have named mine Fidget, Shepherd, and Argo. Now, what you're going to be doing in this game is you're going to be trying to solve the mystery of this forest that has apparently gotten corrupted. There is a literal cancer spreading through the forest, and on top of that, there's also this sort of like evil witch sorceress running around that's like causing trouble, and you're trying to solve the problems in the forest, figure all this stuff out, and fix all these issues. You do this by going into your world map, picking a mission, and then going through and completing objectives in a turn-based form. Where this game differs from games like XCOM or Final Fantasy Tactics is this is more like a chess game because it's not reliant on RNG. What I mean by that is in, say, XCOM, if I tell my soldier to shoot somebody, I will have a percentage chance of success, anywhere, between 0 and 100. And it's possible that even if I tell the soldier, shoot that guy, and it says I have a 90% chance of success, there's a chance I'm going to miss it. In this game, that doesn't happen. If you tell your unit, your mage, to force bolt a guy, he's going to force bolt the guy. He's going to do the appropriate amount of damage based on his force bolt and the target's armor and defenses, and that's that. What this means is it takes the random element out, which I prefer personally. It makes everything feel like it's my fault if something fails. It's not the game punishing me or RNG punishing me for a failure or a miss or a bad decision. It's my fault. If I moved a unit over and I shot somebody, I should be paying attention to what that unit is capable of. This game essentially gives you what I like to refer to as perfect information for a strategy game. You clearly can tell how much armor an enemy has, how much damage they're capable of doing, where their movement rate is. You can clearly plan out and see where your movement rates are, the amount of damage you can do. Some of your abilities are only usable a certain number of times per mission. You know that going in. You know that your fire spell can only be used twice by your mage, and then you're done until you complete the mission. There are ways to get new uses. There's things like spell books on the maps that you can click on to add additional uses to your per-use abilities. But by and large, you know going in, this is what I have, these are my objectives, which will always be on the right-hand side of the screen. How do I complete those objectives with my resources right now? Now, it's not to say it's a perfect game. In fact, it's brutal. In the footage you're looking at, I actually had to tone the game down to normal to feel like I had a chance. I played the game for about an hour and a half on normal difficulty. Excuse me, I actually dropped it to easy. I played on normal difficulty for an hour and a half, and I got my ass kicked. Enemy spawns were rampant. Enemies can respawn on the map. There are reinforcement spawns, although it seems that after a while they do stop. There were 2 missions that I did where I actually beat the mission simply by outlasting the respawns. I turtled in a corner behind some cover, and I just made the enemy come to me. The other big thing you have to learn is that certain enemies, they don't tell you what special abilities they have, which kind of goes against the whole perfect information thing. Like, you can see that that guy moves 5 squares and his attacks do 3 points of damage, but you don't realize that that particular ghost-looking guy can raise the dead, because the game doesn't tell you until he does it. So there is an element of discovery here that you have to pay attention to and deal with. But you learn. You pay attention, you go, oh, that's what he does. Okay. Also, losing a mission just resets the mission right back from the start, and you can try again. So the few times that I lost, I didn't really feel too bad because the game just let me keep going again. It was not terrible. Like I said, at no point did I feel like the game was punishing me. It felt like I screwed up by going, okay, I'm going to try this tactic, and that didn't work. Visually, the game is beautiful. I love the animations. The spell effects are fantastic. The animations are great. The environments are vibrant and colorful, and it's very clear and easy to tell who is what and where is what. Like, you can tell a skeleton from a skeleton archer. You can tell the knights. You can tell the red cultists. You can tell enemies apart by their visual presence on the field. Additionally, the music is phenomenal. There's no voice acting as far as I can tell. At least in the 2 hours that I played, there was no voice acting, but the actual music and the sound effects are great. They have weight to them, and the music amps up and plays appropriately. I enjoy it severely, and I would want to grab the soundtrack. Finally, the writing and the dialogue in this is hilarious. There's a humor to this game, and I adore it. The story is kind of slow to build, especially since the game has a very non-linear nature. Like, you'll finish the first 2 tutorial missions, basically, and then the world map opens, and there's like 3 places I can go, and one of them is the story one, and it doesn't tell you which one. There's 2 side quests and like a story quest, and it just lets you pick what you want. Additionally, and what might surprise you, is there are puzzle dungeons in this game, which involve you pushing blocks to try to solve a puzzle and get to some treasure. There's also an equipment system, where you can equip primary weapons, secondary weapons, armor, and those all do different things. Overall, this is a fantastic strategy game for people who want something like XCOM but want to remove the random elements of it. It's not the kind of game I'm in the mood for right now, which is why I only hit 2 hours in it, but it is a phenomenal game for the right audience. If you're looking for an action-packed game, this is not for you. Like I said, this very much feels like a chess match, like it's me versus the AI. And sometimes the AI can be kind of derpy and kind of punishing in that sometimes they'll decide that they just want to kill a specific unit, and they will chase that unit down. I had one map where 2 skeleton archers decided they didn't like my scout, and no matter where I moved my scout, no matter who I put in the way of the archers, they chased my scout down, taking attacks of opportunity and everything to burn her down. It was the strangest thing. So, you can pick this game up on Steam. I highly recommend you do so. I think it's also on GOG. But if you're into strategy games and you want something that's like XCOM, but again, without the randomness, and it's more like chess, then you should be picking up Druidstone. As always, thanks for watching and listening. If you like what I'm doing, feel free to leave a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe for more videos. After this week's, I'm going to be doing Dicey Dungeons next, which is an independent game being developed by the guy who made VVVVV, and I forget the other one, Super Hexagon. It's a kind of a coffee break sort of game. You can also find me on Patreon, patreon.com/terminallynerdy. Follow me on Twitter, terminallynerdy. Visit my website, terminallynerdy.com. Watch me on Twitch when I stream once a week at twitch.tv/terminallynerdy. And as always, stay nerdy, everybody. See you later.